Neil from Messick's here to show you what I think is probably one of the best things that Messick's has to offer in a grass and leaf collection system. We're out here in my backyard today and I have a lot of trees. You can see the leaves falling around me right here as the wind picks up a little bit. We've got a good carpet back here. We're gonna go suck these leaves up today using this TerraKing hopper. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this attachment, how it fits onto this tractor. You will find that this is an attachment that will be right behind your piece of equipment.
Messick's, a helping hand with your land.
Most of the mowing equipment that you're gonna buy, be it a tractor or zero-turn mower, is gonna have some kind of option for a collection system. Kubota on this BX series tractor makes a set of 3 bags that goes across the back of their mower. And that's where most companies tend to go to, right? If you have a collection system available, most of the time it's bags. And for a lot of our customers, bags are usually their first option, honestly, because it is a less expensive option. But when we get into the fall and you have a lot of leaves to pick up, the volume of leaves and the frequency of having to dump those leaves really goes up a lot. And for that kind of customer, a hopper type catcher is a more appealing option. Now, generally they're gonna be a little bit more expensive, but that capacity and the utility that you get from the hopper makes them desirable for a certain kind of customer. On this tractor, Kubota makes that 3-bag option for the back of this tractor, but they don't make a hopper style catcher, and that has led us to look to other places on the market for where we would like to take one from. This piece actually is something we've sold for a long time. This was originally engineered and developed by a company about a half an hour away from us in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Since then, that company has moved on to some other products now, and this has been sold and is now owned and engineered and built by AgriFab, who you might know for some fairly inexpensive lawn and garden type equipment. They also make this really premium hopper type catcher as well. Now, when I'm looking at collection systems, one of the first things that I'll look for is whether the collection system is powered or not. If it has an extra fan on it in order to suck up those grass clippings and leaves through the tube and blow them into either the bags or the hopper. Any kind of system that's gonna have a fan on it is gonna be a lot more capable, can move a lot more volume of grass, it's gonna be a lot less apt to clog, and it's gonna be more expensive too, right? Because you have that additional mechanics that come along with the fan. Now, there's 2 different ways to do a fan. On a lot of equipment like zero-turn mowers, where they don't have a 3-point hitch and a PTO, you're gonna have a stacked belt on your right-hand drive pulley, and then over on the discharge side of your mower deck, a fan that will run vertically and then blow that grass up into your collection system. A BX, though, and most of our tractors have the benefit of a 3-point hitch and a PTO, and that is really handy for an attachment like this. This whole rear assembly can be fit up to a number of different tractors on their 3-point hitch, and all that power is driven off the back of the tractor, so you don't have the end drive fan on the end of the mower deck. The benefits to that are going to be an easier installation, assembly back here that can fit a lot more equipment as opposed to being on just this single model, and also a lot less weight and bulk hanging off the right hand side of your mower deck. You don't have 40-50 pounds of fan assembly hanging out there on the side, throwing your mower deck off level or creating a lot more bulk on the side that you could catch on a tree. Now, on the topic of overfilling the hopper, I think if you've ever run a collection system before, you're aware of what happens here, right? If you're going along, you're not paying a whole lot of attention to the mowing that you're doing, you're enjoying the beautiful day outside, and the next thing you know, this thing has filled up and the collection system has started to pack that grass and leaves through all the tube, eventually overfilling and clogging everything, leading to a messy cleanup for you. Looking up here at the top of the hopper, there's a large window over here behind the machine that you can look back. You can see if things are still swirling around in there. Or these guys have actually gone one step further too. I don't have it installed onto this unit, but they make a electronic sensor that you can calibrate here that I believe uses a version of sonar to look across the inside of the hopper here, and will give you an idea how high that material is starting to pile up. And at some point when that starts to block off, it'll start beeping at you. Now, if you do manage to clog this, they've put a neat feature on here I think is worth pointing out. There's 2 little clasps here on the back, so you open those up, and then the top portion of this can open right up. That'll allow you to get down here and knock the dirt and stuff off this inside screen here a little bit. All that airflow that's coming out the tubes here is going up through this screen and then out this hood up here in the top. But it does give you enough access here that I can reach my hand back around the back here to the intake tube here, and if there's a handful of leaves and stuff plugging this up, I'd be able to pull it out. The other option here is just to simply swing the hopper open and then find your children and make them climb up inside. They fit really nicely inside of this, and I can tell you from experience, it's a lot more convenient. Once you've filled the hopper to capacity and you're ready to dump, you're simply going to back up to wherever you'd like to unload. And then you have a little switch box here that can be mounted onto your tractor. Now you can put this into a number of different places. We've put it right back here on the roll bar. And this simply has a little electrical 12-volt line that needs to run up to it. And then by pushing this button here, you'll operate the electric cylinder that will open and close the rear hopper. The TerraKing hopper does include all kinds of entertaining warning, caution, and danger stickers, one of which I have completely ignored, and you're going to notice here when I start running this around. Generally, when you add this much weight behind the tractor and also start to fill it up with some potentially wet grass, you start ending up with a lot of weight back behind the three-point hitch of the tractor. When you start to put that much weight back behind there, you start to remove a lot of that weight from your front tires. That can start making it a little bit difficult to steer, as these tires don't have enough weight to get traction anymore, or if you accelerate quickly or head up a hill, you can actually do a little bit of a wheelie with this. It happens pretty easily. Most of you are generally going to have this tractor set up with a loader or something on the front that's going to give you that front ballast, but in the event that you have one of these tractors set up exclusively for mowing, hanging some weights off the front of the tractor, I would say should be mandatory with this machine. All right, so we're taking our tractor here, dropping our mower deck down. And starting to drive forward here. I'm at a low average cutting height. And on my BX here, where I have two PTOs, I have both the mid PTO running for the mower deck and the rear PTO running for the collection system. As we go back and forth here, you can see it's going to suck up all the leaves in this area, giving you that nice clean pass. There's something like super satisfying about seeing the way that this thing finishes. As I've been out here using this, I have 6.5 hours on this tractor now. I definitely am starting to realize the value in bagging. Even in the areas that aren't covered with leaves, I've been really surprised at just how much better my yard looks overall by not having all the clippings laying out here. One of the things that's kind of key to a system like this working well is how much air it's moving, right? That's crucial to getting a good vacuum on the ground and picking up all that debris. One thing I noticed on this that's a little bit different than I'm used to seeing from some other baggers is the size of the fan. You really can get a lot of airflow through that fan, but they've actually put some intentional holes in the front of the boot in order to allow that air to flow freely. And then in the back of the hopper, you see that little fabric hood that's up here on the top. That's where all the air blows out. So it's not just, dumping all this air back into fabric bags that, as they plug up with grass, don't flow with the air as well anymore. This in the hopper really, it moves a lot of air. Now you can see too, it does create dust because of that. Just like that, as I'm going back and forth, already my hopper is full. Now, I picked that up a little bit because I started to notice the tone of the engine change. You can hear as that starts to fill up, but you do got to pay attention or it's really easy to overfill it. When you're ready to unload, you just back up to wherever you want to be. Hit the button here, and then this will open up. And then I personally have made a habit of, once that empties, of flipping the mower deck on for a minute and just blowing it a little bit to make sure that I've cleared any of the chutes and stuff in here of any leaves that might have accumulated. Once that's done, we just hit the rocker switch and swing this back closed again, and then off we go to fill it up another time. Now, we talk about the horsepower in tractors a lot, right? Like when you're doing loader work and you're working hydraulics, horsepower doesn't do a whole lot in order to make your tractor do more work. this, though, is an application where horsepower matters. So we're gonna straighten it here a little bit and see how fast I can go, see how much we can load this tractor up. So, you hear the engine dog down there? This is faster than anybody should go. But it did all right. I can tell, right? There's more skippers than when I was driving at a reasonable speed. But you can see here how the engine dogs down, and then this starts to not keep up. A little bit more horsepower from, say, the BX2680. This is an application here where you might want to spend the money for the larger model. Not that this is not adequate, it totally is. But you know, a lot of times people gravitate towards those higher horsepower models because the expectation is they should do more work, and that's not always the case depending on what attachments that you're going to be using. But this is one setup here that will benefit from that added horsepower. The dust that you see around me here is something to note. I know they're doing what they can with that fabric hood back there to minimize it, but if you're somebody like me and your allergies get to you, I'd consider wearing a mask or something. Now, we have had an extremely dry fall. We've had basically no rain in almost a month. So these leaves are extremely dry. That's probably contributing to the cloud that you see coming out the back here. If you haven't noticed by watching my videos over the years, I often learn while we're out here doing this. I was about to sit down here and complain about the fact that these parking stands can be annoying, right? They stick out the back over here. I've had a case or two where I've gone into a drainage swale or something and actually drug these on the ground and started to pack them full of dirt. They have great utility here, right? You can raise them up and out of the way, or you can drop them down here when you're going to take this off the back of your tractor. It creates a really nice way for this to freestand when you take it off your 3-point hitch. Makes it really easy to take on and off. That's great. But what I failed to notice before this point was that you could take this whole thing out, and they actually have alternative storage positions for them up here. So really cool bolt there that retains it, and then you just slide the regular locking pin back into this hole right here. So these could be stowed away here up and out of the way while you're out mowing, not causing you to pack them full of dirt when you drive through drainage swales. So that's a little bit on the TKV20. I am honestly always impressed by these when we put them out. I've seen us fit them up between a whole lot of different tractors. Putting them onto the subcompacts is probably the most popular for us, but I've seen them up on some of the B and LX series tractors before too. So a lot of like cool flexible mounting options, being it all of this sits on the 3-point hitch, and just great quality stuff. The performance of them is better than anything that I've seen before. It just works really well behind the different tractors that we offer. So if you have a lot of leaf collection like I'm doing out here today, or you love the look of a lawn that's been fresh cut and all of those clippings discharged and trashed as well, it looks great when I did it out here, give us a call at Messick's. We'd be glad to hook you up with one of these. You can reach out to us at 800-222-3373 or check out our website at messick's.com.